Hey, Peter. God dang it, Bobby.
Welcome to our review of Donnie Brasco. I'm Matt.
And I'm Micah, and this is 191 Media. Donnie Brasco came out in 1997 and was directed by Mike Newell and stars Al Pacino and Johnny Depp. The plot summary for the movie is the main character, Donnie Brasco, is an undercover FBI agent who has infiltrated the Bonanno crime family. As the main character, Donnie, gets more involved with the crime family, he starts blurring the lines between being an FBI agent and a criminal. So Matt, what did you think of Donnie Brasco?
You know what? I did like this movie. I thought it was done fairly well. And it's a mob movie, so I guess it plays heavily into that, the stereotypical mob / mafia, I want to say stereotype, but I mean, it's based on a true story. And apparently it's 75% true to the original, how everything went down. What did you think about this movie?
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I think Al Pacino did a really good job, and Johnny Depp did a really good job as well. I don't know if it was one of their first movies they had done together, but they did a really good job kind of just meshing together and kind of playing off of each other. I believe that Donnie Brasco was a critically acclaimed movie for the time. I kind of was expecting maybe a bit more to happen plot-wise, but I think it was just more of a slow burner, for sure.
I agree, man. Like you said, this movie was critically acclaimed. It was nominated for, I think, 2 or 3 Oscars and a bunch of other screenplay guild type awards. I don't think it won any of them. I think it won Best Supporting Actress for one of the actresses. But like you said, I felt it was a bit slow, and maybe it's just that 90s style movie making that didn't really mesh with what I'm used to, I guess. I didn't feel it was critically acclaimed, that's my opinion, but it was done well. Like you said, Johnny Depp's acting and Al Pacino's and their chemistry together on set, it seemed to go really well, and they played off each other, and their on-screen relationship was done really well, and I actually felt for Al Pacino's character Lefty. And near the end of the movie, when stuff kind of comes to the climax of everything, I was definitely feeling for him.
It's also kind of interesting to see Al Pacino play kind of that mob character that's not at the top, because usually in most of his movies, like in The Godfather, he's one of the top guys, right? Most of his other movies, he plays one of the top leading characters, but he was one of the leading characters, but in the actual movie, in the character he was playing, he was kind of a lower guy, and there's certain parts where he was saying like he's been working with the mob for 30 years. What does he have to show for it? Yeah. And he's still kind of a low-level guy. He's almost in his 60s in that movie.
I think he must be. Yeah. So essentially, the plot follows this undercover agent. His real name is Johnny Pistone, who goes by Donnie Brasco. Like I said, true story. And the real Johnny Pistone is alive right now. I think he's 94. But he's old. He's still kicking. And basically follows Donnie Brasco starting as a nobody to the mob, entering the mob, meeting Al Pacino's character Lefty, and just going from there and kind of getting more and more involved. And like you said, it didn't really explain too much about Lefty, Al Pacino's character, and how he actually got to his position, because I guess the movie wasn't really about him necessarily, like it was the main focus, but it's mostly trying to focus on Donnie and his kind of, his plunge from being the straight edge undercover agent and then going down the dark path of becoming a criminal.
I was kind of expecting, there's a part in the beginning when it's almost focused on Al Pacino, and he's kind of almost assumed to be the leader of the group, and then you realize further down the line he's kind of just a cog in the wheel, and he's a very poor guy, and he likes to take money from Donnie Brasco's character. And yeah, I thought he was an interesting character, but there's a lot of good acting between Johnny Depp and Al Pacino, and Al Pacino still has it, or I guess it was over 20 years since the first Godfather movie came out. It was 25 years after that or something like that, 1972, and he's still very intimidating for being such a small man. I don't know, do you remember there's a few times when he's very in your face about it?
Definitely, especially near the end when, I don't want to spoil it, of course, when things are coming to a kind of a wrap, And there's that scene near the end where Donnie has to make a serious choice, and I thought Lefty was about to, he felt really intimidating at that time, and he felt like he could do anything at that moment, right? So he does have good gravitas. There was, yeah, like you said, the acting was good, though. I guess there's a few weird scenes in it. Like at the beginning, the movie just opens with this really creepy scene where Donnie's calling his wife to check on her, and then she's trying to sleep, and he's just asking her to let her breathe into the phone so he can listen. Like it just, I don't know, it felt out of place. Johnny, are you okay? Are you safe?
Yeah, honey, I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, but what about you? I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, honey, you need to go to sleep right now. But first off, can you just put the phone near your pillow? I need to hear you breathe. Their relationship in the movie was very tumultuous as well. I think that was like almost half of it was like Donnie's home life and how much of a stress that was with his wife. Not like he never told his wife what he was doing in the FBI as an undercover agent, and like he had kids and stuff, and he was almost becoming like a part of the mob. He was so deep undercover that he was like starting to become a part of the mob.
I felt that family aspect was put there to make us realize the struggle his family is going through. But again, I don't want to spoil anything, so the whole family aspect, like I felt like it meant nothing by the end. Like his personal family, like his wife and kids, like there was the ups, there was the downs, but at the end of the movie, it's kind of like they almost threw away the whole thing because it kind of just came to a full circle. If that makes sense without spoiling anything, it's kind of like it was just there to make you feel bad for Donnie.
So, would you say that this movie engaged you?
To be honest, I felt this was a bit of a slow burner. I thought the pacing was a little bit slow because when you break it down, not too much happened in this movie. It was based in New York, so essentially most scenes were just Donnie slowly working his way up the mafia ladder to becoming somebody who actually has some pull in the mafia. And I mean, there's only a few locations really, right? There's the New York, of course. There's like their bar they're always in. There's that quick restaurant scene. There's Florida with like a bar and then that ship, and then their family's house. And there wasn't really too many other sets.
It was for sure trying to kind of maybe go back to those old mob style movies where dialogue was the thing. Like instead of, they're trying to tell a story better, but the acting was there, but maybe the dialogue in the story wasn't up to par for that.
According to the actual Johnny Pistone, who they actually consulted with for this movie, he said in an interview that 75% of this movie is true to real life. So I guess maybe in this case, real life is kind of boring. Like they're executing a mob sting and they probably dramatized a bit of it to make it more interesting, but
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like violent parts that were probably just thrown in.
Yeah, there was a few. What'd you think of the way the movie was shot? Like the cinematography?
I thought it was well done, man. There was a lot of good, I guess, back and forth shots between. There wasn't like any. I don't remember any like super crazy like cinematography shots per se, but I thought it did a good job. It didn't really need to be over the top or anything like that. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Like I said, it felt a lot like a typical 90s movie. So a lot of 90s movies were kind of, I want to use the word campy, where it's like, I don't know, it's almost like ridiculous. Like shots were just average, and cinematography wise, yeah, it was average. I couldn't say anything great about it, can't say anything bad about it. It was decently shot, and like I said, it's just the 90s style of filmmaking. It's like the sound effects they use for the punches for fights. It's like you went to a website and picked up a stock punching sound, right?
Oh yeah,
it was.
It sounds so fake.
Yeah.
So would you watch the movie again, Matt?
I probably wouldn't watch it again, just because like I said, the pace is a little bit slow, and it was okay. It was average, but nothing made me really want to watch it again, and it didn't feel like that deep of a movie where you might have missed something. Like I'm sure there was a few things that might have been missed that could have been found on a second watching, but personally, yeah, I wouldn't give it another watch, but I'd watch it once for sure. What would you think?
So the first time I watched it, I fell asleep halfway through.
Wow, was that like oh boy.
I was just really tired, but
Okay.
it wasn't engaged. It didn't engage me very, very well. But I did watch it again for the second time all the way through, and it did. There were certain things that I picked up on more the second watch, but I don't think I'd watch the movie again.
So what do you think you would give this movie a personal rating out of 5?
For me, I'd probably give it about a 2.5, and that's just for Al Pacino and Johnny Depp's acting.
What if it wasn't what if those guys were in the movie?
If those guys were in the movie, it would probably be about a 1.5.
Yeah.
Like, but Al Pacino, like, obviously he's a big draw.
Oh yeah.
You know, he even if the movie's not that good, he's gonna elevate it to a point where people will just go and see it because it's a big name, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? What would you give it out of 5?
Probably give this a solid 3 out of 5 because I did think it was like the story was interesting, but definitely had pacing issues, and I just think the real life story, like I said, just wasn't too interesting. So personally, at least, so yeah, 3 out of 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.